Hello, and welcome back to Dice Dropping's third installment of Song of Fire and Ice role-playing game. And welcome back to the Chronicles of House Weirlight. Say hello, House Weirlight.
Hi, House Weirlight.
And
Hello, House Weirlight.
All right. Well, is everyone excited to be back?
Yes.
Holy shit, yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
better when the family's all together again.
Oh yeah, when we're all safe together.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
Currently, the House Seneschal Claryssa Asterwood is far afield
We miss her.
in the Riverlands, trying to find out the truth behind what the hell is going on here. So, everyone had okay weeks.
Yeah.
Everything's getting a little weird and scary-ish, but doesn't matter now because we're role-playing inside, together, but apart.
Safe.
This is
Socially
the only place that we're safe.
As the
inside.
nerds of old would have wanted.
Only place we're safe. Have hand sanitizer. We're all good.
It's fine. I'm drinking the alcohol that'll help disinfect everything. It's fine.
Here we go. That's how it goes.
Mhm.
Oh, well.
All right. So when we last left off, House Weirlight had come under the direction of their liege lord Mace Tyrell to House Dulver to Deepen Hall, deep within the Westerlands, basically almost in the Riverlands is where we are, basically, just near. If any of you are looking at maps or whatever, it would be an Iron Man, kind of in the Deep Mount, which is the big mountain above Iron Man Bay. And we're trying to figure out what is going on, as there seems to be rumblings of war between House Dulver and House Tullison. And if you guys haven't really thought about the actual concept of that, is the whole thing is, if House Dulver does go to war with House Tullison, well, then the Lannisters can't look weak as if they're not supporting their bannermen, / their bannermen are not under control, and they would have to back them. And who is one of the Lannisters' greatest allies? The king.
Mhm.
Which means the crown would have to back the Dulver.
Mm.
Then bring them in direct contact with the Tullys, and the Tullys have direct links to the Starks. The Starks have to uphold their allies.
Yeah, it's a domino effect. It's bad.
Really not great in any scenario.
So what first might stop a small war between two is in fact going to, hopefully, you guys are attempting to stop a war between the entire
Kingdom.
Seven
The
Kingdoms.
continent.
Yes.
We gotta stop the Civil War from breaking out, guys. It's all up to us. It's really no pressure or anything.
No, there's a lot of pressure. You should feel pressure.
Hey. Thanks, Tony.
I
would.
Never face
I'm just happy we didn't hold off on dealing with this.
Yeah, we got like
Mm.
when he said just get to it. I was like, we could do it in a year, but no, we should get it done now.
Ow.
And pretty smart.
Yeah.
Yep. We both sides were talked to. Both the armies of House Tullison and the armies of House doubt they can win either fight, as House Tullison's men are used to fighting in the wilds, not defending a fortress, while the House Dulver's men are used to defending, not fighting out in the wilds. So we'll see what happens. There's some suspicion on both sides. I think the family have an idea of who's behind it. Who's to say they're even remotely correct?
Probably not.
Nah.
Yeah.
Was the butler.
It was the Yep, that's what people are blaming. Well, the maester, so it's more like the doctor. But yeah.
The classic, the doctor did it.
So
The
let's
conservatory.
kind of phase into this.
Yeah.
So, House Weirlight has been staying at Deepen Hall for a couple days now, about two, 3. It is the morning time in which the nobility often wake. At least the remotely responsible ones. And I would like to start out, I believe, I believe it was you, Lady Vivian, who kind of wished to see a tour of the legendary deep cellars.
The root
Yeah.
cellar.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is a root cellar that's bigger than the entire castle.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very famous. Lots of people want to kind of look at it. So that would be something you'd want to do.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Cool. Did anyone else want to join Vivian?
I would join.
Sure.
I actually kind of want to join this.
All right.
I would as well.
All right. It's everyone
Really
but
torn.
Nymora and Claryssa. Nymora, are you like, it's a fucking cellar? Like, who
Yeah,
cares?
Nymora is kind of much like Heather is. It's just like it's an underground room. It's
Yep.
cool. Sure. Have fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, so mainly the family. So, of course, Claryssa and Nymora is possibly still asleep, maybe awake. Who knows? We'll find out where she is in a bit. But Henrik, Mariella, Vivian, Tiedric, Thorsten, you are brought down to the deep cellars by a man who calls himself Carol Cave, both with K's. Carol Caves, he introduces himself. He is the stonemason of Deepenhall. He's the one who basically created the Deepen Cellars. These are his, it's his art, his design. He is a man in his mid-40s, a bit average build, a little shorter, very large, kind of waxed mustache, kind of receding hair, dressed finely enough to be in the company of nobles, but not much more than that. If this man does make a lot of money, he doesn't necessarily make it known on his personage. And if he's a pauper, he also does not make it. But he smiles, and as he kind of leads you in, he begins talking a bit about the history, but a lot of you are immediately sort of ignoring it, because what you come down to, what you expect to be a long cascade of squat tunnels, you in fact come to an open atrium with an 80-foot high ceiling and rows upon rows of shelves that seem to be cut and sectioned off and have copper tubing running through them as if sections of the shelves move. And it looks like moves on these strange pulley systems. And it's immediately an utter marvel and not at all what you were expecting. And so you all kind of miss his like first paragraph introduction of the history of the place, as you all just sort of stare at something none of you have ever like thought of. Thorsten, you are shocked because this looks a lot like the filing system in the Citadel.
Mm-hmm.
This, I mean, it's a little more like, not as big, quite honestly. Citadel is massive, but it's definitely impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And then Carol kind of catches you all looking. Yes, I see. Yes, well, we do our best here. We may not be the most prominent house in Westerlands, but I think we have something a little unique. If you'd like to see how it all works, come with me. And he just kind of like goes down the very long staircase down.
I shall follow.
Yeah. Is there anything on these shelves, or
They're packed full. They are filled with tons of things. On one shelf, you see, looks like one shelf is entirely toys. Another seems to be filled with different root vegetables. The upper half of that one, though, you see like small copper tubing coming out. Another, you see some rocks, some geodes. Some have books. Some have looks like reliquid bones. Some have weapons. Some have base material. You see some animal bones. Honestly, there is an innumerable amount of things. Every section of shelf seems to hold something completely different from the next.
Okay.
And you have yet to see a shelf hold the same thing as the last shelf. There isn't a ton of every section, but there is
A lot of sections.
a lot of
A
sections.
ton of sections.
Yeah, he got a lot of stuff. He is the
Yeah.
From what you understand, the Dulvers are the most well-organized hoarders in the Seven Kingdoms.
Gonna say, it's like an episode of Hoarders, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, but someone who actually like cleaned everything up, but threw away nothing. You see two entire large rows just filled with silverware from different ages. There's one set that looks to be almost gold, another bronze. Some looks like carved from pewter. Not all of them are entirely complete from the look of them, but they are expansive. You see dishes. You see base materials. He kind of shows you, like, in the back there, we keep a lot of the kind of mining equipment. Now, remember, I want all of you to know, this was not always as organized as you see. It used to just be on the ground, in piles, flitting about in here, in a much smaller space. But after I came in and the Herald Dover showed me his designs, I was entranced. And he kind of goes on about the inspiration for the filing system, and how he kind of like carved into the mountain. And he goes, a lot of people say Deep Mountain center is filled with much harder rock, but you would actually be surprised how soft many parts of it are. And then notice like all of these, we decided not to really, we managed to just smooth the rough stone. As you kind of go deeper and deeper into the halls, you notice that the rock becomes less perfectly worked stone and more just smooth, natural stone. And it's beautiful. Like it's almost like it's granite. Like it's just this speckled thing. And it's like, to those who are interested in such things, weirdly beautiful. Everyone sort of, I'm guessing, picture as organized or as like almost artistic as it was. It just said that it's really big and has a lot of stuff in it. This doesn't exactly cover all of that. And you realize you could be down here for just looking at stuff. There are like some different types of clothes, old armor. There's a whole shelf of helmets, and God, are there helmets from everything. Shields who are so old, whatever heraldry added is just gone. They're just faded with time. However, you do notice upon the side of one of the shield shelves, there is a shield kind of like hung that looks actually fairly well kept. It has a white background, and it has a fully colored tree, like brown, trunk, green top, with a shooting star going over it. I mean, it would make sense if Henrik would know.
So,
yeah, go for it.
That's I believe it's from. No, I'm gonna mess this up. Is this from the Duncan Egg story? Duncan the Tallest is his.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on.
So Henrik, you want to say that?
Yeah, I was like, Henrik gets like super excited, and it's like his eyes light up, and he like rushes to it, and like looks like it's like, is this? Turn to the man who's giving us the tour. This looks almost exactly like the shield Sir Duncan had. Is this
Sir Duncan the Tall?
Yes.
That is his shield. One of them, at least. He had many.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this one he used first met with that Prince Targaryen, the Targaryen prince of the time, and they fought side by side in a trial by combat together.
I read that story. That's incredible.
Yeah, he did not use that shield in that combat, however. Shield in the jet.
I didn't think.
And I believe 40 years ago or so, a man sold that shield to us to pay off his debt to Lord Dulver. His house is, I believe, quite dead now, but
By the way,
couldn't survive the rebellion, as so many houses fell. But I think at least we got Sir Duncan's shield out of it. It fell. Don't touch it.
About to.
don't even look at it.
Slowly put his hand back
Yes,
down.
my lord, if you would be so kind.
Okay. Of course. Oh.
Thank you so much. But yes, there are many small treasure troves in here. If you actually just look this way, and he kind of like turns and stares down like section of shelves, and he goes, excuse me one moment, and he just like starts walking. Yeah, you follow. Mariella follows.
I will follow partially, but not like completely because
He's
like,
not like he's not. It's quite easy to follow him. He's going straight
That's
down
how
a
I go.
row of shelves.
I'm curious too.
Yeah, no, like
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
plan on being like he turns around and I'm there. It's like hi. I like
Sure, but
I
you're
kind of
following
want to
them.
like be quasi like hands behind
You're
my
le-
back, quasi
you're
like
leisurely
looking
following
up
him.
and down the shelf.
Give
I
him
want to
some space.
freaking listen.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, he just goes, and he goes down, and you notice that this is kind of very much sequestered a little behind a few shelves. You see what he's looking at. It's quite obvious. There's like a kind of opening in the wall that kind of goes through like a very dusty, sand-strewn like rock tunnel, very not carved well, like just almost looks natural. And
Like it was still being worked on almost.
kind of, yeah. And there's a lot of like kind of rubble around it, and it looks like an old, like a very, very old wooden door just kind of on the ground. And he kind of comes up to it, and he's like he's looking at it.
Is there something wrong, sir?
Yeah, he'll like start a little bit and goes, "Oh, well, a bit, my lady, a bit. It's odd, but I know I sealed this tunnel 7 years ago, I'd say. Like, it was useless. We thought we could expand in rocks too hard. So it just sealed it up.
Does it?
But it's
lead to
been...
another part of the castle, or
No. Remember correctly, it leads down all the way through the Deep Mount, out to a beach in an Iron Man's Bay.
that is
This-
strange. Would it be easier if possibly? Sorry, Jesse, you're kind of quiet. What was that?
If you'd like, I could, of course, go take a look.
Oh, Lord Teedrick, no, that's unnecessary. I'm sure it leads to where it's supposed to, but it's just it's odd that this is unsealed. I know I sealed this.
Does it look like the door came in? Like from like how is the door like?
Yeah, like
It sounds like somebody wants to investigate a bit.
I would
Sort
like
of.
to help.
Sure,
I will
is
absolutely.
it like
Help.
flopped in or flopped out? I guess for this one.
Yeah, well, let's
Find out.
let's
find
see
out.
here. Let's find out, eh? I think this is going to be a cunning roll.
Lovely.
So, now hold on. Thorsten, you said you wish to help Mariella.
Correct.
So what that about how situation? Thorsten, Please roll cut. A 14. Well, that is 2 degrees of success for Thorsten, which means actually. So hold on. Yes, 2 degrees. No, I counted right. I know what
Numbers.
Got it.
Math, the general enemy of everyone.
Now that's 2 degrees of success there, and with that, Mariella, on your roll, you will now have a +2.
Let's see how this goes.
A 10 plus
So that'd
2
be a 12.
is a 12. 12 is the DC.
Thank
Oh.
God.
So if Thorsten hadn't have helped, so if Thorsten managed to, I think I know how he helps. So Maria, you kind of come over and you begin to kind of look about, and you notice there's dirt on the ground, and there's kind of a footprint there, and you're sort of like look at that, and Thorsten, you kind of go down and kind of like the rock and material and look down. Mariella, you believe this was reopened recently. Now, recently, as in with Thorsten's guess, within the past 6 months or so.
Yeah. If it's a fairly
maybe-
sequestered area that's not normally traversed, it's like that's the best guesstimate.
Yeah, kind of. It's about 6 months within the time frame of been reopened. However, this footprint isn't that old. However, it is smeared, so that could literally be anything. Like that, it is impossible to tell how big or small that foot is.
Yeah.
Just someone walked through here fairly recently, but it's very hard to tell, like what kind of person did it.
And the door is
You believe it was unsealed from your side,
okay.
from within the cellars.
Within the compound versus it being open from
Yes.
elsewhere.
And Carol Kays is like, that is so strange. I mean, this was originally crafted, this for a quick escape for the Dulvers, but we found sort of a better way to do that, and this tunnel goes on, that beach that goes on is 3 miles away. It's a big tunnel.
Bit of a jaunt.
Right? Yeah, like it's a very large, and it just was very ineffectual as an escape tunnel. It was more likely that the pursuers would find you, you know? So we found a better way to do that. I hope you don't mind if I don't show you that way. He chuckles to himself. But yes, it's very strange. I know this was sealed. Odd.
Would this
I'm down here a
possibly-
lot. I'm surprised.
Would this possibly require cutting the tour short in order to make sure things are not missing?
Oh, you think someone?
Well,
You think
just
someone broke in?
if the door is unsealed, it's just better to be safe. 'cause
Well,
if it
I
gets back
took
to Lord
I take
Dover-
inventory all. I did it last night. Nothing's missing. Nothing that I'm aware of. I mean, a good amount of our copper's gone, but I think we know why that is.
We're sorry to cause you so much stress in that department. But
Yeah, you're right. I should double check, but as far as I know, nothing's missing.
well, it's better to say that you did check when it was found, so then you have all of the things in case Lord Dover does inquire.
Indeed. Yes, perhaps we should, but some boys looking, they just sort of look into it. But we can continue the tour. There's no thing. It might have just been old age, or one of the boys got curious about the wood and fiddled with it. It's of no concern. Other than worry not.
Does he seem like he's genuinely doesn't like it, like the concerns?
Well, you could give him an awareness empathy.
Sure, I'd like to try.
Please roll.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yep.
Sorry,
Yep.
I should have waited.
That's 3 degrees of success. Yeah, he's just like, well, this is odd. He doesn't seem that concerned.
Okay.
He's a stonemason.
Mhm.
There's a lot of weird, intricate stonework going on here, so it's, someone probably touched it and it moved and it kind of collapsed. It's not that surprising. He doesn't seem
Unsettling
overly
of the earth
concerned.
and everything. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I would for sure if I could. I was like, who else comes down here aside from you all and those?
Well, this up until recently, the servants came down here. Besides me, and my boys, servants. That's it, really.
What do you mean by up until recently?
And he's just like,
Nice. Okay.
He's just like, it's not exactly my place to say.
Understandable.
Really.
Can I make a check?
What would you like? What would you like?
Can I use my research to find out if the door had just fallen off because of its age versus it being like kicked in or kicked
Pried
off?
Well, no. So Mariella has actually already.
That was part of what we were doing.
Okay.
Someone had pulled the door down.
Okay.
It
Someone
was
had-
actively opened.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
someone moved this piece of wood, which then kind of broke through into this.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's just like, it's not exactly my place to say. Just a lot of, the lady being gone, she takes people with her, and Lord Dolver has more been interested in maybe perhaps getting a few things himself. He only keeps a few on. But I come down here all the time, check things, make sure everything's working. There's a lot of checks and balances going on in here.
I'd imagine that would mean many of these boys that you had mentioned assisting you in the process.
Yes.
It must be hard to wrangle that many. I would imagine.
Oh, I only have 3.
large.
I only have 3. No, they're quite easy to manage. They're a bit overly curious and they like to touch things. But
I have brothers. I understand.
of course.
Nick's hand is so close to the shield right now.
Can I pop his hand with my fan?
Yeah, of course.
Ow! Wow.
He just sort of goes, well, anyway, and he just turns and and he's like, if we, into 73.
But before he kind of moves us along, I was wondering if I could just kind of scan what's on the shelves that are near this door in general.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty easy. Dishware. It's like serving plates.
Where? What?
Yeah, like platters, mostly
Okay.
dish
yeah.
platters and bâtons and.
I like nice fancy plates or cutlery.
Yeah. That's on one side. On the other side is all bolts of cloth.
Okay.
Any fans?
In here, yeah.
There's
There's a few.
everything down here.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's
Well,
near us is another question.
Name a thing.
You gotta go to
It's
aisle
down.
of B8 and go left turn and D5. There's no way to it.
And after a while of talking, now this might be very exciting to show you all. If you're a little, perhaps, if you have weak constitution, you might not want to see this, but it is quite spectacular. And he will go down this one way, and he will show you after a while what looks like a part of a dragon skeleton.
Ooh.
Ooh.
The
I
head
immediately
is about
turned
the
to
size
Henry.
of a...
Don't touch.
So close to just running onto it right now.
Head's about the size of a what?
Of a horse's head.
Oh, so it's small. Oh, so it's small.
It's smaller. Yeah.
It's a baby dragon skeleton.
Could like fit in our hands almost. But it's like
Well, I mean, it's a
No.
horse's head.
It's like
like,
the size of
like you could hold on to it though. Like it's not like
Yeah.
ginormous, like size of a carriage sort of. Just, like
No, it's not Illyria the.
We're talking
Yeah.
like Thestrals from like
That,
Harry
yeah,
Potter.
I could picture it. Yeah, I got it. Yeah,
You see like the boat wing
he's a nice dragon.
and like the upper rib and the rib cage and the bit of the skull. No legs or anything that you can see. But that's all that's there. He goes, this was given to us by a fourth son of the Targaryen line. When he, well, it's not entirely important what he did, but he had to give reparation to the, so he donated this. In Lord Harold's father's wisdom, he took it. Lord Harold and I both believe that this, while very phenomenal, doesn't actually have any form of value. But it is nice to look at.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And I've worked it into the stone there. It's like not hanging or anything. It's like worked in stone part of this.
Oh,
it's
it's
a
like
mosaic
quasi
almost.
like excavation.
Oh, that's cool.
like
Yeah.
embedded in. And there's
Your
like a bit of a
skill is unparalleled.
scene
Mhm.
kind of painted around it.
Mhm.
It's quite nice, eh?
Your skill is unparalleled, okay.
Thank you.
I would also imagine not many can boast that they have such a thing within their personal collections.
This is very true. However, I would love to mention everything down here is not a collection. It is for sale.
Interesting.
Never the salesman.
So if you wish to purchase anything you've seen here, you of course may discuss it with Lord.
Mm-hmm.
I wish you had not mentioned that shield was potentially. for
I
sale.
think I'm also to go up to. You know,
It's like,
name
"Oh,
day's
that one,
coming up.
Mommy."
Yeah, you know, our name day's coming up. It'd be a really nice gift. I just want to mention that.
Not only have we hoarded all of this garbage down here in secret in the dark for years upon years,
It's for
it's now
sale.
available for the low, low price of $19.99.
Infomercial bling.
But wait, there's more.
If you act now.
So if
Heck
you
no, we'll throw in a half skeleton of a dragon.
so if you wish to purchase Feithendrax here, it's the name of the dragon.
Damn.
They are for purchase. As is every single thing else down, except me.
Well, that's sad to hear, for it seems like you are probably the most prized possession here.
You're too kind, too kind. Your grand words are too good for a lowly stonemason as myself. But I will take the compliment. And he kind of gives you a... Yeah, Carol seems like kind of like a bit eccentric, but very personable. He seems to take pride in showing this, and he definitely seems... you also get the feeling that maybe not a lot of people come to visit.
Oh.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
So roughly how long does this tour take? Ish.
Like
I'm assuming like
hour,
maybe like
hour and a half.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just because he's talking about stuff and he's kind of showing you different things.
Okay.
Probably shouldn't go over there. It's a little more dangerous. Some heavier things over there. Like how about like at the very front of it, there's a chariot. If you're very interested in a Legion chariot.
Can't say.
I'm going to
I've
ask him
seen
about the books.
The books.
Yeah.
He goes, "Oh yes, we have several books in our collection. Is there anything in particular you would think?"
I'm always looking to expand my knowledge, so if there's a way I can just look through and...
I mean, At your leisure, sir. At your leisure. I'm instructed to help you all for anything you need here. Everything again is for sale. There is some things. It was donated by a maester, Maester Pycelle, actually, current Grand Maester.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes over and he pulls out a tome. It's not a book; it's a tome. It is very big and very old looking. He goes, "This is a verified, year-wide tourney listing of the year 52."
Long time ago.
It was like that. That's like
I was confused. I was like,
that's
is that
almost
now?
250 years.
Thank you for
Oh,
me.
just yesterday.
I would have been confused with Aaron. I was like,
Can I do a research or a knowledge check?
This would be just an education. This would be 15. Yep. Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Leave.
Oh. So that's 3 degrees. That's 3 degrees of success. Yeah. So you know the year 52, height of tournaments that really got really big, and supposedly that is when a lot of like old wives' tales, like the legends and bedtime stories of a lot of kids from a lot of Legend Nights. A lot of them happened around that. So
Okay.
historically, it's quite significant. I would be interested to anyone who's interested in that sort of thing. Probably horrifically dry and dull to crap.
Maybe to the average person.
Yeah, to you, that's amazing. Like, holy
Yes.
crap. You didn't know they had
Right.
records
Oh, I
of
think
tournament
my brother.
listening. Yeah. My brother.
Full recline, Jesse.
This is how invested Diedrich is in the red set.
nice.
Yeah.
Now, with that same check
Yeah.
that I just made, would I be able to estimate how expensive the item would be? Or would that be a separate check?
Well, that's a different check because
Okay.
to you, that you would pay a lot of money for that.
What Dover
For someone
would
else-
sell it for?
That depends on the person, really.
Yeah.
Why what Tilbury would sell it for is
Yeah.
Like, Lord Dover might not care, but, he's pretty shrewd, so he might know how much that might be worth. You would say, if
Priceless.
you would probably pay, like, at least 10 gold dragons for it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's priceless and can't be recreated,
hmm
supposedly.
Now, as a maester, I know I'm assigned to houses. Do I have an allowance, or do I have money personally for me, or is it I just live off of?
Well, David, you got a certain amount of money at the beginning of...
Oh, you're right. I did. I forgot about that.
I don't think you have 10 gold dragons.
No, I don't think I have that much either.
I know Vivian has it.
Oh, I know she does. Actually, I don't even think I wrote that down because it's not available on the sheet. I don't even see money on the sheet.
Check in your journal.
Is it in the journal?
That's where a bunch of us were putting it.
Oh,
And you
I don't
might
think
be
I
there.
actually put that down.
You have no money.
I rolled. I got my
I
mouth
don't think I put mine down either. Oh god.
Oh, I wrote
I
mine.
have.
Money is power. Are you kidding me?
Tony, I am a dutiful player, and I
Like,
wrote.
I don't remember writing it down. Oh shit.
Congratulations.
I
you
have
spent it all.
246 silver
No.
bags.
I spent
Good work.
all
Yep. I remember, Aaron, how much? Because you got one more than me, and I was upset about that on our rolls. I remember that.
The elder twin
Well,
wins.
she has 5 minutes. So
Yeah.
I rolled a 21.
Here we go. Yeah, because I was upset because
But I don't know if you spent any of that money to buy equipment or things.
You did.
You did.
You had to. That's how you had the weapons.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Had your weapons and armor and whatnot.
I'll write that down.
All right. So, sounds like Thorsten, you don't have your purse on you.
That's what it sounds like.
You're like, damn. However, you know you could probably send a raven and be like, I'm willing to pay this much money for it. And then if he gets a raven back and good, and then you just send the... Then you get the book. Yeah. Yeah, there are some other books there that are like star books and other things that are like interesting, but he seems like that's really big down here.
Mm-hmm.
At least that he's aware of.
all right.
Vivian, you continue to slap Henrik from touching.
Like, oh, shut down.
No.
No.
Forgot your purse as well.
I want to look at it. No, I have. I misplaced that. That's my goal. I forgot what I spent
If
it
you
on.
don't know the number, you don't have your purse.
Guess not today.
Yep. Tedric, as usual, you let your wife pay for things.
Let her
So
bargain. Let's her pay.
Yep. What we do.
Listen, that marriage money, that's still coming in every month. Vivian gets a dow of 10 gold dragons a month from her family.
It's actually 10 times a status roll.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So I'm gonna actually do that
Yeah.
right now since. It rolled pretty good. So that's how much gold dragons I have, Anthony.
In a purse.
Oh, you
somewhere.
took the wealthy thing?
No. It says status was how many gold dragons you begin with. Obviously, you don't begin with the full. I have 16 gold dragons. You just roll a stat.
Oh,
You
right.
got
Yeah.
no equipment or anything?
It's just for me because I
Well,
don't have
there
the
you
wealthy.
go.
That's what I got.
Right,
But
yeah.
I forgot my purse.
You forgot your purse.
Now,
But you're like,
now write
"Damn."
down your number because
I did.
So, as you all are taking this lovely tour, let's see here. Claryssa, you are riding back from your cousin's place,
Yeah.
attempting to get back to your family
Oh no.
and hopefully not get killed on the road.
Yay!
When you come up kind of a narrower mountain passage, and there are 2 carts stacked up on top of each other in the road.
Of the road.
Just turn around. Leave.
Straight back. No, not dealing with this today.
Do I still have the 2 guards with me?
You do.
Okay, I just wanted to make
They
sure.
both immediately stop and go my lady, wait here.
Turn around and
And-
leave.
No.
And the one guard kind of rides his horse up, and he yells to declare themselves and what they wish. And popping up from kind of from behind a rock, you see kind of a really dirty looking guy, long beard, very unkempt. He's wearing armor with a tabard on it. It's dirty and disheveled. It's white on the left side, green on the right. It has what looks like a broken tree on the symbol. It's covered in dirt and grime. He looks horrifically unwashed. but he is holding a long sword that looks very well kept. And he goes, "No, like our intentions. Well, it's very simple. Just you need to give us some coin, and you can go on. Simple as that."
That's it.
You go that. He kind of looks over. He goes, "That's it, my lady. That's it."
Can we get around you and then give you the gold?
No.
Can I throw you a bag of gold while we go around you?
You could throw me a bag of gold right now.
But then you might not let me pass.
Oh, that is the danger of the road.
It is. You're right. I'll look to the guards, see what they think. Be like,
They, the one who stayed near you, who fully has his like sword and shield out and is like kind of leaned closer to you, is like, "There's definitely more men in the rocks. We should unless we want to fight. It's not my money to give, my lady, but I would give him the money."
Yeah, it's fine.
He looks like a
Teacher
henchman.
owes me, though. I remember I said that.
Not for me to say.
I will grab just like a little felt bag of some sort and toss 5 gold dragons in there and jingle it at him. Can we get past now?
He goes, "Toss it up."
I'll toss it to my guard.
Yep, he catches it and he underhands it to him, catches it. He opens it up and kind of looks.
I just want to go.
All right, then. Right. Well, that definitely buys passage. Sure. Well, I mean, for you anyway. And he points at you, Claryssa.
I knew that was happening.
Yeah.
What about your boys here?
What about them?
They're like, "You got money?" And he goes, "Oh, my lady, please, you're free to go."
This is the worst possible situation.
Tony is so pleased with himself.
They're like, "Yeah, that's right. Okay, calm it down."
Look at that smoke face.
You send her by herself.
I wanted to send somebody else.
What
with
happens when you split the party?
Oh, we never split the party.
All right then. If 5 gold is only enough for me, I guess I'm a pretty expensive buy, huh?
You are, my lady. Don't sell yourself short.
I guess I pass.
Yeah, they will move the turn as you kind of go past them.
I'm gonna kind of make eye contact with the guards.
They
As
just
I
nod.
ride past?
They just nod, like,
Okay.
like yes, go.
Yeah. And I'll whistle for Birch as I ride and make sure he follows. And
He follows.
Good.
They don't stop the dog.
They better not.
Dog don't got money in it.
Yeah. Great. Very good.
Yep. As you go by, though, you do notice there are 3 men with crossbows.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Yeah. They're wearing like leather, but the guy talking, you definitely look at. He looks like a head for sure. He's armored like one at least.
Okay.
They of course smell very bad as you go by them.
The worst.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and do you keep going?
At a slower pace, I think, and when it starts to get dark, I'll stop completely and try to even maybe lead the horse, not riding, and try and be just a little bit more quiet and see how that goes.
Absolutely. So it gets dark, and it's starting to get to that time where you should pull over. It is at this point where you realize your supplies are with your men.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have any food.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I know that I'm not personally well trained enough without Thorsten to find something to eat.
Sure.
So she probably just sucks it up. I mean, there's nothing else to do. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now tell me, Claryssa, do you know how to build a fire?
No. No. This is like I said, the worst possible situation.
Yeah,
It's not,
you get.
it's summer. At least it's summer.
Yes, it is
true.
summer. It's not that dark. It's
So
very
good.
true. However, there's lots of hills, and it's a bit cold up here. Not too cold. There is your horse blanket that usually is in between the saddle and the horse. You could use that for warmth. Now that's another question. Do you know how to un or resaddle a horse?
I think so. I think
You
that's
do.
something. Yeah, I think that living with the Weirlights and all of their horse adventures, she would have had to learn at some point.
I think that's completely acceptable. So you do know how to do that. So you get to a point where you are very tired.
Mhm.
Are you going to try and walk through the night, or are you trying to camp?
Decisions.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna walk through the night.
Phenomenal.
It's fine. Dying is fine.
So you're on the road. You're very tired,
Mm-hmm.
and you're walking next to your horse.
Yes. I might even. The horse means absolutely nothing to me at this point. Not a single thing.
So you're riding him. You're saying?
Yes.
Are you riding him hard?
No. I'm trying to be quiet.
You're trying to be quiet.
Yes. So slow.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So slow. Good to know. Could you, in fact, make me a stealth roll?
Mm.
I'm good at those. Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
Would blend in count for this?
No.
That's all right. Gotta ask.
Nice.
I'm gonna ask.
14. Phenomenal. Let's see if it beats them.
Oh.
Mhm.
14's good. 14's
She
really
showed
good.
that she has the money.
It is. It's very good. I mean, it does. I know it does, but I want to see by what degree.
Several.
Nice. 2 degrees of success, which means you're walking on the road. You're on top of your horse. There's moonlight, and I would very much like you to roll an awareness roll.
All
If
right.
hearing, if you have it.
I do not.
Well, then it's just awareness.
You walk by 4 shadow cats. You never even know they're there.
Right? I mean, they are in this area, so who knows?
No.
Way to bring that up.
So you suddenly stop, and you hear talking. Sounds like 2 men talking behind you.
Oh, good. The best.
They are, from the sound of it, they're on horseback. And you turn and you look in the distance and you see coming up the road, there's a torch. And like there's someone holding a torch. You can't see any more details than that.
Mm-hmm.
But there are people on horseback coming. What do you do?
Okay.
You have some rock, like if you want to try and jump somewhere and hide, you could. There is nowhere for the horse to hide.
Horse hide.
The horse would be abandoned if you want to hide. which, I mean,
Well,
dead
do I know?
walking? I mean, like,
Yeah. Well, I was gonna ask. Do I know how far away I am? Like how far I've traveled since we left the castle.
Since you left castle, you'd be a day's ride.
Day's ride. Yeah, she'll, as quietly as she can, hop off the saddle, grab anything that she kept, and then she'll kind of like, even with a dagger maybe, hit the horse to try and get it to go, and then hide.
Get it to run? Fantastic. So you duck off to the side. Your dog kind of scrambles with you. I would like you to make a animal handling test to get him to hide.
All
now
right.
he is a well-trained dog, so this isn't that difficult.
Well, it's way more difficult than that, than 2 1s.
Not that easy.
That's all right.
Unfortunately, your dog is like just is concerned and is like very heightened now because you're upset, and not like coming near you. It's still in the road, like.
Okay.
Do you have any destiny point?
I don't believe so. Yeah.
That's how it goes sometimes, eh?
It is. It's all right. Death becomes a woman, I think.
As the 2 horses come near, as you see the kind of books it. It seems that noise has attracted the other 2 quicker. And your dog kind of starts growling in the road as the horses coming nearer and nearer.
Please let them be.
Really hoping that too. I was like, please let them just be the guys.
It's not that kind of a game.
No.
9. He makes it. Birch manages to like go and jump out of the way that were for sure just going to run him over. As you see 2 men ride past, you get a good look at them. They're not your men.
Okay.
In fact, you recognize them. One of them is the hedge knight you saw earlier. It looks like they're going after your horse.
Yeah. Take it. I'll stay here forever.
It seems like they might be on the road now because there's lots of reasons.
Yeah.
You don't have to go into all of them. You're a noble. Maybe they want to ransom you.
Barely.
However, what do you want to do?
I think she'll kind of click at Birch to come out of the road, finally. Dog.
He'll finally come and be like, what?
Yeah, and then she'll go farther off the path, and because you said it's rocks, right?
Yeah, it's like hilled rock area.
Yeah, she'll try and find a better, not a great, because I don't think there's going to be one, but a better place to stay, because she imagines there will be more headed that way.
Absolutely.
In a little bit. So, yeah, and she'll stay.
Could you give me a survival roll?
Also awful. Yes, I can.
Might roll real
Family.
good.
Well, family.
7. No, it doesn't make it. It's a TR9, unfortunately.
Terrible.
You end up basically hunkering down in between 2 rocky hills.
That's fine.
With your dog for warmth, who he stays by you, just panting. And kind of like gives you a dog hug.
Oh.
Yes.
Yep, and let's just see how well they do. Well, that's a thought for a different time. Boot scoot and boot. All right. You finally find some sleep. You begin to flutter your eyes open. You realize you've heard a sound in the distance. The light is still off. Like, it's not quite day. There's in the distance, there's showing of blue sky, but that's about it. You can barely see. Birch, however, while still in your reach, like you're still touching him, he seems more alert now. And you once again hear two men talking. What do you do?
I'm gonna stay where I am.
You're gonna stay where you are?
It's better than getting up.
Sounds good. Birch begins to growl, and suddenly a small bend of the hill, that torchlight you see, and it's very close. And you see clearly the two men from before. They would have had to have been out all night. They look tired. But more than tired, they look really irritable.
Good. I found my empty horse.
One of them has a crossbow slung on his back. It's not strung currently. It's not pulled.
Mm-hmm.
The other has a long. He's just on his shoulder, and he kind of. You realize you're going to be visible in like 3 seconds, essentially, from them.
She stands up.
Okay, you stand up. They kind of like twist, and they hold the light out, and they see you.
Hi. Are you looking for me?
One of them goes, "Fucking finally." The leader just like kind of looks at him, and he kind of walks forward. His sword's still like on his shoulder. And he's kind of holding the light out. The dog, however, Birch is growling like a motherfucker. The one with the crossbow does seem to like kind of stop and like look very wary of the dog. The other doesn't look as wary.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "Hello there, miss. Never caught your name, actually."
You won't.
Quite rude. Two people coming to make sure you're doing all right. You just seem to be huddled out here. What happened?
My horse ran. You took my guards. I don't have a fire.
Took your guards?
There's a lot, actually. Yeah.
Took your guards? No, we didn't take no guards. They couldn't pay the toll. Simple as that.
Funny.
I will say though, what's your what's your awareness skill?
I have a bonus in that, so I have 24 passive.
Holy shit. You notice the sword he's carrying is your guard sword.
Oh yeah, of course it is.
No.
I'd probably say the horses were theirs too.
Possibly. And he kind of walks a little closer to you. And you said you have a passive 24, did you not?
I do.
That's a big number.
You're right.
So
It's almost as large as
I actually want to
Lucy's
see
education or research.
That's my passive knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
do the things
know.
that we are good at very well.
I like the idea that you can just passively know a thing. There's a constant stream of information going.
Yeah.
in,
I figure it's just her collecting the thought bubbles.
Yeah.
Not like that. Nah.
Oh man.
How do you calculate a passive?
It's
4
in
times
the.
your rank.
It's also on the sheet as well.
Yeah, it's 4. How you calculate is basically
4 times
then-
your rank. Okay.
Yeah. And then I took a feat that allows me to add my cunning rank to it. So my cunning is 4. So I have 5 in awareness. That's 20 plus 4. 24.
perfect.
Nice.
It's beautiful. It's a good number. But she's about to die, so it won't matter for much longer.
We'll see what you see.
Claryssa, you Suddenly, while you're staring at this man and preparing for death, you go a little still, and you look kind of up, and you notice, and you realize your dog has not been growling at the two men approaching.
Oh, good.
You up on the hill, like, you're here, there's a hill behind you there, where they're kind of coming around to face you.
Oh my god.
Stalking, looking directly at you, Claryssa, is a shadow cat.
Son of a bitch.
It has gleaming the yellow eyes. It is blended perfectly into the mountain. Shit. Barely. So it looks like the shadow cat wants. However, these men are getting closer to you. What do you do?
I think. I think she freezes completely, and she like looks at them and she says, "You might want to turn around and stop moving." And she tries to like get down and hide.
Uh-huh. And
Yeah,
they immediately look at each other. Please. Are you serious? You want us to look behind us?
Yes. And just very quiet, very low, like only eyes trained on the cat.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
I want you to make a persuasion test.
Okay.
Persuade these men to stare death in the face as it comes from them.
Yeah, pretty much.
9. Okay.
That could be in your favor.
Yeah.
One of them the one with the crossbow,
Mhm.
turns and looks up, and he's looking where you're looking,
But he can't see it.
see anything. And he's like, you see to him, he's fairly convinced now that he's looked that there might be something. The other man, the one in armor, doesn't look. And he just goes right up to you with the torch. And he's just like, and he's looking down at you because you're kind of beginning to
Yeah.
squat. And are you trying to do anything right now?
She's trying to not die.
Okay.
But how are you trying to not die?
Do you want to? Are you trying to maybe angle? He can't leap at you, but he could.
Yes.
Guy.
Yes, absolutely. I want to
Okay.
try and make myself the less threatening target compared to the guy with the torch and the guy with the crossbow. Those
Okay.
seem like worse ones.
Okay, so I want you to roll. I would like you to roll a knowledge test just to know something.
Straight knowledge, right?
Oh,
Nice.
yeah, that was a hard test, so you beat it.
Good.
I
need it.
Shadow cats are a little wary of. You're fairly certain if you get that torch away from that guy, he'll attack him.
Yeah, it's not gonna go well for me, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try and grab it and like push him with my body back towards the other guy with the crossbow and the cat.
Okay.
It's not gonna go well, but it's the only thing I got going for me.
You got
Okay.
this.
I would like you to make make an athletics.
All right.
Do this.
6.
Not as bad as it could have been. I'm gonna be real honest.
That's his combat defense. You manage to grab the torch and push him back. Do you like throw it or anything?
I hold the torch. I'm keeping the torch, and I'm gonna start walking back with the torch in my
Okay,
hand.
you can move back as far as.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good work. So I'm gonna say. Now, normally he would get a counter roll, but there's a prize, and I think he is surprised because he is fully convinced that you are.
Right.
And he's like, "This little girl is not a threat." So I don't think you made yourself look very small and suddenly grab it and And he like was at first he's like, what? And then he kind of chuckles to himself and goes, the torch. That's what you grab at. The torch.
She's keeping it real close to her chest and walking back.
All right, now that you do that, I would like you to make a stealth roll to try and, or actually this would be a cunning, to try and basically make sure that this guy is the target, right?
Sure.
Yeah, you do it. 9.
Okay.
Wow, you are just skin of your teeth.
I feel it. I feel it.
All right.
None of this is what I'm good at, so.
If you survive, you will be MVP.
Do 2 ones. I've rolled so many ones, you guys. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Do. Oh yeah, that's hilarious.
Great.
What, did the Shadowcat roll 2 6s on its stealth?
No.
You're super quiet, Jess.
Better?
Much
Yes.
better.
Hmm.
That the Shadowcat rolled 2 6s on its stealth.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do and. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
goodness.
Suddenly you just hear a and just leaping from the sky, landing directly on this man, biting down into him as he, let's see, enough degrees of success. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 degrees. So that's 16 damage. This man's armor is, and oh Jesus, he just lands on and the side of his throat, and the cat just goes, and you just hear a snapping noise as he goes, and just blood is flowing from his neck. His buddy goes, and like pulls the crossbow and begins to try and set it up. Claryssa.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm going to need you to make an agility test.
Uh-huh.
Run.
5.
Oh, no.
All right. So the Shadow Cat is going first.
Of course it is.
The Shadow Cat continues to sort of rip, and he just fully comes out, and you just see, I'm so into it, just this spray of arterial blood. It covers you. It like just, there's, and you see this Shadow Cat, which is basically, imagine like a bobcat and a tiger had a baby. And it's got like that kind of long kind of side tufts that bobcats have and the same ears, but it's striped. It's pure black with almost silver, almost moonlight stripes throughout it. It's got a long ended tail just like a tiger does. Its claws are bigger than your face. And its mouth is just covered in gold. And you see its eyes are just pure open, and it seems like it's really into what's happening. It doesn't even eat the chunk. It just drops the utter side of this man's neck, which just is gone, essentially, from his mouth. And he now, the Shadow Cat now, you have a torch.
Yeah.
And the other man is screaming. He kind of, I mean, you didn't throw away the torch. You kept it. So he looks at it and then just turns to look at the guy who needs a round to pull that crossbow back. And he just turns and runs at him. Do. All right, here we go. Oh god, yep. What just goes up and just claws the guy. He screams as he hits the ground. He's like alive, but his neck is at such an has fully come off, like and dangling, and he's just like and just making horrible, pitiful noises. And he's still alive, but not
Not for long.
not for long.
Please
As
leave.
the shadow cat kind of begins to fully loom over him, large paws down on his chest. Just now it's your turn, Claryssa.
Leave.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna continue walking back as fast as I can without tripping, and if I see anything on the ground, you might not let me do this, but if I see anything on the ground because it's rock that, like, just a little bit of dead something peeking out, I'm gonna start lighting shit on fire as I walk with my torch.
Okay.
It's been summer for a long time. I imagine there's a lot of, like, straight up grass and shit.
There is. Yeah, you begin to, like, hold it and light, and there's a lot of dry brush around you, and you start a brush fire.
Yes! Good! I'm
all right.
out!
I will also say, about very close to you, because it kind of went flying after he died, your guardsman's sword is right next to you.
Yes, it's in my hand now.
Yeah, you pick it up and it's like,
It's mine now.
you're a little drag.
Sure.
But then you begin to move. Yeah, good move. Yeah, with the brush in front of him and two big meals right there, Shadowcat's not that worried about you. And Birch immediately comes with you because it's like, oh god, fire!
Yeah.
Mom, there's a fire!
I see it, thank you.
And then
Good
you do
dog.
the dog bark thing, and you begin to, in the wee hours of the morning, 4:30 in the morning, begin to run from the massacre behind you.
Yeah, not stopping.
Not stopping.
Yes.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice little
Bring you
adrenaline
back to the
rush.
family. You just had a lovely lunch late night. Can we maybe give Claryssa a little bit of a hint?
Yeah.
Alive!
I didn't know if it was
Yes,
gonna
you
survive.
queen! I would have been so upset, and then I was mad at myself because I opened my big mouth before we started this game.
Yeah. Didn't know if you were gonna get through that one, so good work.
It was close.
Ooh.
It was. So,
Oof.
we move on. The family just had a nice big lunch. It's kind of mid-afternoon at this. Is there anything anyone of the family, obviously not Perilous, wants to do?
I believe David had mentioned wanting to talk to the maester at some point while we were here.
Yeah.
Would you like to do that, Thorsten?
Of course.
Very well.
I'd like to pick his brain.
See his chains.
Sure.
See his chains.
Maester.
Absolutely. Positive.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is Lord Dover's not a social individual? Like, he doesn't just sit to have chats with people if they're not talking business.
Not particularly.
Okay, never mind then.
Why? Would you like to try him?
I would, because after seeing
You
that
can do
empathy, we saw that how he's lonely. I would just like to keep him company, because I know what it's like to be away from family.
There was a possible Harold Dover conversation that I was gonna try, but it's like we'll see how.
I mean,
it
you
goes.
both can try.
I-
Nothing's stopping you.
Yeah. Well, let's have this maester on maester thing.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we really
let's
want
do
to
that
the
first.
We've
the
waited
maester-
long enough.
We want to see the Maester v Maester, and then we'll get to our shit. So, you got this.
Thorsten, yeah. So at this point of the day, you Maester Falston, he's kind of, I'm guessing you make sure you don't catch him with Lord Harold.
Of course.
So yeah, there is a moment where he's like just and you do spot him.
What was his name again? I'm sorry.
Falston.
Falston or
yeah, well, Falston technically. Yeah.
Falston. Okay.
No, Falston. No, I was right. Falston.
I was about to say that's not a good sign for him.
Yeah, Falston. Falstan.
David.
I'm gonna write that down real quick. Okay. I'm gonna walk up to him and Mr. Falston, how are you today?
He stops and turns and goes, Mr. Thorsten, wasn't it?
Correct.
I'm all right today. There's lots to do. Is there something you needed?
I was wondering if I can offer some assistance with anything you need help with.
Oh, that's terribly kind of you, but I think my family's business should probably stay that way. I know you don't mean anything by it, but I have it well in hand. Thank you.
Can I make an awareness roll to read him?
Sure, absolutely. So awareness, empathy, if you have it. 9.
I don't have empathy.
Yeah, I mean, to you, he just seems like he's like, I don't really need help. Like I've got my own thing. You got your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
What's up?
Yeah. Give me a second. I'm trying to think of something.
Sure.
Now with with what I have as, let's make sure what I'm thinking is correct.
Mm-hmm.
What I know because of knowing that that door was knocked off or pulled off down below, would I know to bring that up to him or leave it be?
That's your decision.
No, I'll bring it up to him. I'm going to ask him if he knows about the door down in the cellar being knocked off after it being closed for so long.
Yeah, that definitely catches his attention. What?
Yeah, during the
tour.
tour.
I was informed there was a sealed off area. Yes.
Yeah, happened within the last 6 months. Sure you don't want my help?
Wait, what? I'm sorry. What cave in? What happened? I'm sorry. I don't think I was fully paying attention. Like Thorsten. What did you say?
So the door down below that led to the beach. The door has been removed. And
there's a door that leads to the beach?
Correct.
There's an open. Are you saying there's an open tunnel in the?
Yeah.
Does the stonemason know about it?
He does.
Oh, good.
And he doesn't seem all that worried about it.
Oh. Well, if he's not worried about it, then I'm sure there's nothing to worry about.
Make another awareness to gauge his...
Sure. He's very hard to read. It's just like, he seems like he thought you were bringing... It seemed like what it seemed like bringing the problem, then he's like, oh, seems fine. Seems fine. Well, thank you for bringing that attention to me.
Of course.
The stonemason already knows, but I never got that link. And he chuckles. But if there's anything you need advice on or anything at all, let me know. Is there something else?
I want to see if I can think of anything else to pick his brain on. So before we continue with this, I'm not 100% sure on everything that happened after I left last week.
Sure.
I've heard bits and pieces.
Yeah.
But can you give me a quick gist
Absolutely. So basically, physically, the only person who is around him is Maester Falston. His family isn't here, which Vivian knows. He is while a very terse man, is a very doting husband and father. So not having any of his children here is very strange. Vivian and the gang also found out that through the Septon here, that Lord Dulver seems a little anti-religious of lately, and him and his son have had a fight. Naimora found out even deeper that the fight was rather large, and that ever since the fight, Harold has not had any contact basically with his household whatsoever. He has only spoken to Maester Falk. And his son, his heir, Sir Walton, and his mother and younger sister and others have left the house to stay with their other side of the family.
Okay.
And Sir Dulver's brother, Sir Gamble Hill, thinks that uncle, sorry, thinks that the fight was his fault.
Yes, he got in between the two, and he said something that seemed to anger both of them. And even though Sir Gamble is like his, his like leader of his army, he like won't talk to him essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So he seems very isolated. The only person is this. There's some stuff Claryssa find out, but you.
We also tried but failed to recognize what chain links he has, and
yes, you don't know. Only Thorsten, you'd know.
Would I know with my passive 24 knowledge?
Yes. He has less chain links than you. That's the main thing you would know.
Well, of course.
But he has Kyrugian. He has Warfare, which is interesting. He has a good amount of them. You who have like 3 or like, not many. He has like a link. He has like links around him. But you do have you have more than him.
So warfare being the most prominent one it's obvious that all maesters could have at some point a warfare chain just to help with strategizing. But how long has he been here? Would I know that?
You've heard conflicting reports. You could just ask him.
I'm going to ask him how long he's been part of the family.
I was assigned here about 16 months ago. Year and a half, okay. I want to say, on there. I came right from the Citadel, and at first I was a little wary about being assigned here, but I think I've made pretty well for myself.
Why were you wary, out of curiosity?
Well, Lord Dulver does have a bit of reputation.
It's very true.
But, I believe I was happily surprised.
Yeah. Can I make I don't know, I would say it's an education check to see if I remember hearing anything of Folston while at the Citadel.
Absolutely. So this would actually just be a cunning test.
Oh, a cunning.
This would be a cunning test to remember something.
Okay.
9.
I'm going to use my lucky and re-roll that.
Oh, well, very well. 10.
It's still better.
Unfortunately, there are thousands of maesters.
I know there's thousands.
And you were assigned 15 years ago and you've been studying.
Yeah.
But you've been out of this back of catch-up courses and your required maester learning.
Yeah, I have to go back to get a chain when I when I get one.
Exactly, right? And this guy is for sure, not by much, but he is older than you. But according to him, this is like his, and he like, so, you know, yeah, you didn't hear of any guy named False.
Okay.
You're pretty sure you heard of, like, Fikeston? But like,
yeah. I'm sure that there's going to be all sorts of manners of variations of
there was
name.
you knew of at least 50 so there's a lot, you know, lots of names, but procs to you.
Yeah. So I'm gonna step away for a bit and talk amongst family and just let him know, kind of, because he seems a little off to me just by watching him, but not enough to accuse him of anything right then and there, you know?
Yeah.
There's some gut feeling.
All right, cool. Yeah. Well, you excuse yourself. He says,
Yeah.
Have a good day. And he
You as well.
walks off.
Give me
All right.
1 second.
All right. Is there something more you want to do at this moment?
I'm just going to kind of relay everything to Vivian on what I've observed of Maester Fulston, and kind of get some more information, see if what she knows, basically compare notes.
Yeah. Sure. Absolutely. He tells you what you have just learned.
And I something just seems off about him. I just don't know what.
Serena, you're muted.
Yeah.
Of course I was. So, well, I can understand his disposition. If another maester were to come to our home and begin asking about secret tunnels that have been cracked open in our cellar and other things, I suppose he would be a bit guarded, and you would be a bit guarded yourself.
True.
But I don't know. There's just missing some. I'm not sure what it could be.
I don't recall anything from going back and forth to the Citadel with him, and so I'm just, I like to fact check everything 5 or 6 times before I feel comfortable with something. You know me well.
I do. In how long did he say that he's had this position?
He said 16 to 18 months, roughly.
That's significantly shorter than the
what you cut out, sorry.
Sorry, I'm trying to think of the fucking name. Septon. That's significantly shorter than what the Septon.
It's way longer than what the Septon
That's
said.
longer, actually.
It's way longer.
Right. Yeah, I'm literally staring at my notes. He said the Septon said he'd only been here for 8 months, perhaps half a year. That is.
He's saying a year longer than that.
I wish the lady was here. I'd be able to. All right. Thank you.
No problem.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go see if I can pick the Septum's brain now for this. This is all the more intriguing.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we haven't had a.
You haven't had what?
I think I said we haven't had a Thorsten time, so I think we're going to stick with Thorsten a bit here.
Okay.
Yeah. So the family knows of him. You introduce. He's in the town. You got to kind of walk into town, which is right there. So it's not like you have to go get someone.
Yeah.
The town of Stony Hearth. And you find the sept. Quite a nice sept. Nice and big. 7 sides. All the good stuff septs have.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's party.
It's pretty. And you find Septon Arlen. You see him condoling what looks like a young woman, and you kind of seems like you catch like the tail end of and as the maiden fades, as the mother comes in, but it is not the time for all young maidens. At every time you will have your day. Just for it is this day does not mean it will. And she's like, "Are you sure? There's nothing wrong with me?" Of course not. And he kind of pats her down, now run off. I'm sure you have some chores to do. And she nods.
I'm gonna pay close attention to this girl and kind of memorize her features so I can see if I can find her later.
Yeah, absolutely. She seems. Why don't you make an awareness test for me, Sherlock Holmes?
9.
9. Yeah. You notice from her hands and the kind of smell of her, what's on her shoes, that you think her family might work with sheep. She has a very plain face. Her teeth do not look well.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure she's quite comely for her station, but she looks like a small folk girl.
Yeah.
Kind of long black hair, not of any particular style or note.
Yeah.
Definitely not the prettiest girl in the village.
Mm-hmm. But just average and nothing fancy.
No, and from what you notice, you think her family.
Okay. So I'm gonna. Did I get the septum's name? The
Arlen.
name of him? Arlen.
Arlen. Yeah.
Arlyn.
Exactly. Yes. You got a fantasy spell.
I'm gonna head up to him and just ask how he's doing. And
I'm well, friend. I'm well.
You completely cut out, Anthony. Sorry.
He goes, "I'm well, friend. I'm well. Are you the maester of the Weirlights?"
I am.
Oh, yes. I met your lord and lady. Quite good, devout people.
Agreed. I'm lucky enough to not only be a part of the family through being a maester, but related to them as well by blood.
Are you? Well, that was quite large of you to give up all that and still serve that family. You must be quite a humble man. The smith takes pride in his work, but does not need recognition to know it.
Exactly.
How can I help?
I was wondering, is there anything that I could help around here with you? I can help.
That is so kind of you. Yes. There are many things you could...
cut out.
He goes, yes, there are many things to be helped. If you wish to volunteer, that'd be fantastic. There are roofs that need thatching, and I need some people lost some hands in a small outbreak that happened, and they haven't been able to recoup much from there. So if you wish,
I can help there.
Oh, fantastic! Yes, well, they need laborers in the field. So if you wish to help them there, that would be phenomenal. Where to begin? Could use some help procuring a bit more bread. We wish to go down. There's a small bread out to the men, and they are fed well, but it's such backbreaking work. And yeah, so he just kind of just lists all charity things that it's mostly physical, but
not much that I can really do.
Not really. Do you want to bring up to him what you're good at?
Yeah, I'll bring up that I'm good with. Hold on one second. That I'm good with medicine, and I can help out with that. I can help with.
If you're good with
really good.
medicine, I could surely use some help. And do you say you're good at anything else?
That's really it, outside of knowledge.
Knowledge. He goes, well, knowledge is always good. But yeah, if you're good at medicine, there is some people that sure could looking over if you're willing.
Of course.
I couldn't pay you for your time.
I know.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, so if you want to spend until dark, basically, he gets a bunch of people does anyone need a doctor to look? And a lot of please. They're like, no, what does a doctor do?
I'm doing this to help butter him up later for some questions I ask.
It's working.
Yes.
It's very much working. I'm going to tell you right now, of the probably 20 people you see, 17 of them have syphilis.
Just in very.
They're just it's syphilis. Syphilis. That's syphilis.
Yes, the Dornish disease.
Yeah.
The Dornish disease, is that what you said?
Common in Dorne? Yeah.
It's really common in Dorne.
Well, I help them out what I can.
So you're thinking there's got to be someone.
Yeah.
You don't know who.
Who's the
Is there anything I can do for them with it?
With
not
it?
necessarily medicine.
I mean, you can instruct them how to properly take care of their stuff, and you can drain it.
Okay.
We don't have to get into that, but you can help. Why don't you give me a medicine roll?
Treat injury?
No. This would just be medicine.
Just straight healing then. Okay.
Fantastic. Yeah, you help a lot of people teach proper regimens, a bit more about hygiene. It's a few more seconds at the wall can do a lot of good.
and as I'm doing all this, I'm writing down instructions as well.
Cool. They definitely can't read.
No, but I can give it to somebody who can.
Cool. You Arlen can read. The Septon.
That's who I was going to give it to.
Cool. He can read. No one else in this town can. But he can for sure read. And he's happy to take them, and he says that's very thankful. And you do find one of the women you see is pregnant. And she seems very upset that she's pregnant.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
And then you're like, well, for your pregnancy, and she's like, I've been pregnant. And she just walks out.
What of the other two people that don't have syphilis?
One guy is completely fine. He's just I don't know, had my arm broke. Had I think had a lot of things broke. Cow ran me over. Fell off the cliff a few times. Just thought I'd get myself checked out.
Makes sense.
And he's fine, literally fine.
Good for him for his annual preventative.
Yeah.
His first
Good
time
checkup.
ever preventative.
Yeah.
He has described a lot of awful things happening. Seems totally fine.
Yeah. Okay. Everything is good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the last girl just has and you're a broken tooth.
Okay.
And then you're just cool. You just don't want that to rot.
Yep. Help fix it, or pull it, and give her some medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm gonna head back to Arlen, let him know how to help with the 17 people that have syphilis.
Yeah, he's very interested in helping. So yeah, you give him the instructions. Very thankful for.
And then I ask him if
he then pours you some tea and goes, "Please let me get you supper, please."
I appreciate that. And as he's doing that, I'm just gonna.
And this is how that's syphilis.
Not necessarily. Where is it? I don't know if it would be the cunningly, not necessarily cunning. I'll just say it. I want to just, as he's doing this, just like small talk, ask about Falston. How long has he been with?
Oh, sure, yeah. He goes, I'm sure, really. I'm not really up at the house often. I was first aware of him about 8 months ago or so. He came to talk to me. Not the most personable man. Not like you. He doesn't seem that interested in the. But I'm sure the Dolvers.
Yeah.
But I've barely seen him a few times. I sometimes have to remind myself.
Yeah.
Not that that's a crime, but just I have to look at his clothes to know it's him.
Yeah.
He goes, "Now I know I said tea, but could I tempt you with a mug of ale?"
You could.
All right.
Where this is coming from.
Nice.
Yep, he gives you a nice big. It's a big mug. It's a big mug of ale, and he drinks a bit of it and is like, "Isn't that refreshing after a hard day's work? I always like to earn my ale."
I agree.
Yeah. So from what you can engage with Arlen,
You keep cutting in and out, Anthony. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. So what you've been able to sort of gauge of Arlen, and he's a very, very good person. You also find he's actually quite educated. He knows a lot of the treatments you're talking about. He seems to have studied somewhere. He's definitely educated, not as much as you are. Like you for sure are. He went to a community college. You graduated Oxford. Like there's a difference.
Yeah.
With a doctorate.
Working on my PhD.
Yeah. Multiple doctorates. He was interested in several subjects, kind of thing.
He audited some classes.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to also ask him about
to know a ton about the Maester.
Okay. What about asking him about everything going on in the town? Just not necessarily saying like there's war, but kind of just trying to figure out his ideas on everything.
He definitely states he's very deep.
He's what?
Deeply troubled. Deeply troubled by what's going on. He's not really sure why it's happening.
I'm going to ask him, he says that, do you think it's because of the falling out with his son and kind of with his family?
That he goes to war? I hope not. I don't think so. It might have been about that. It might have, the argument might have been about, sure, Walton was very, how do I say it? He was very upset, and he wasn't making much sense. He seemed like he just needed to talk rather than be heard. I tried to follow what he was saying, but he mumbled several things.
Do you remember what he mumbled by chance?
Not particularly. Just that his father was stubborn, and that there were more consequences than one realized, and why, why just because that his opinion no longer mattered. Which makes sense. Lord Dolver has never been a fan.
Yeah.
He is, I know, once accused me of stealing his son from him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very sorry that he feels that way. Also, I'm very sorry that he can't see how much adores his father and worships him, and desperately needs his approval.
Yeah.
So the fact that he stood up to him this way, I was very proud of Walt. also deeply concerned that they have this schism between them.
Do you know who, or what I know, who the Dulver's wife's maiden name or the
Lannister.
Lannister? Okay.
Yeah. She's Tywin's cousin.
Okay. Yeah, that kind of throws that idea, her thought out.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
It's the Westerlands. There's lots of Lannisters about.
Yeah.
It's a really big family.
Oh, yeah.
They're like weeds. They're everywhere.
Yep. And just like in the Reach, you can't really go.
Yeah.
Some eighth cousin of someone.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate your time. I must go see if my lord and lady need anything from me.
Of course, you have your duty. Come by and chat anytime.
I appreciate that. And if you ever want to just talk, send a raven. I'll be happy to
that's very
bounce
kind.
information off of you.
It's been a while since I've had a pen pal. Very well. I take you up on it. Yeah, so you leave there, and Thorsten, you go off. Now, Mariella and Vivian both wanted to talk to Harold. Did you not? No.
I think I want to change my mind to talk to Carl. He seems more my social speed.
Carol? The stonemason?
Carol.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can find him quite easily.
Run circles around this man.
I doubt.
Yeah, so if you want to go talk to Carol, yeah. He's like in like a room. It's like maybe a library in the keep, and he's like looking over some old plans. And as you come in, he goes, "My lady, do you wish me to vacate the room?"
No, I actually wanted to have a few words with you. Am I interrupting your work?
No, not at all, not at all. What do you need?
Well, I just wanted to sit and have a chat with you, perhaps get to talk more about what's it like officially called? Like the museum?
The
deep cellar.
Perhaps talk more about the deep cellar.
I mean, I'll gladly talk about the deep cellars, my lady. What do you wish to know?
Well, I was rather curious during some of the fans. I wanted to talk about some of the fans that I saw there.
Oh, of course.
In another visit, I would purchase one. But I also wondered how you and your boys, as you called them, are keeping up with the cleaning and the maintenance with it, because I noticed that the staff had been significantly downsized on our visit.
Oh, we were the ones who all in there. We had more help, I will. But, well,
Has the Maester been extending himself to aiding you, perhaps?
Aiding in the cleanup?
Well, not the cleanup. I've noticed
the organizing.
Organization, yes.
Well, I mean, occasionally I've come to him if he had definitely put forth some things. He's got a good head for numbers. He's helped in some degree, but he's never contacted me. I've always gone to him.
Ah, I see.
He's a private man. He doesn't. I can't say I've ever actually seen him talking.
He doesn't socialize with any of the staff members for as long as he's been here.
No, not that I've seen. Occasionally we've had a chat. Not an impolite or a rude or boring man by any means. He's private.
Oh, I see. He's private. Do you? Sorry, I'm trying to think of how to word this. In the year that he's been working here, he hasn't had close friends friends, or
I mean, I believe he's quite good friends with Lord Harold.
of course.
They spend all their time together.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, they... No, not that I've seen.
Mm.
I mean, I think he might... No, not that I... No, that wasn't him. That was the old Maester. No, not that I know of. I've never seen him... I mean, I've seen him leave the castle every so often, but it's usually to go maybe get someone or do something on behalf of Lord Harold.
I do recall last I spoke with the lady, she never mentioned that the Maester had retired his position. When did that happen?
Oh, he died.
Oh, tragic.
I mean...
It's always sad to lose
I mean, I would say it was more of a blessing.
Oh.
The man was quite blind, quite deaf.
And
had been struck to his bed for 5 years.
Understood.
The whole thing is, technically, we didn't have a Maester for 5, because he couldn't do any of his duties. Lord Harold didn't suffer. I mean, well, it's not really my place to say.
It's just between us.
Okay. So,
I love when that happens.
so that sounds like either a charm or convince.
I would love for it to be charm.
I think
but
it
if
sounds
needs
more
to be
charming. You sound like you're being charming. So yeah, let's
Yeah.
do charm.
Okay.
So this is going to be like the difficulty for this is going to be 9.
Okay. Here we go. Yeah.
Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 degrees of success. He goes,
Oh, tea drink.
"Oh well, if you insist." And I think in that moment you discover a certain flamboyancy to him, as if he's been very reserved in himself, and he goes, "Well, if you insist." Well, quite honestly, and he kind of just sits
I was
down,
hoping for this. Thank God.
and like he just suddenly becomes very open with you.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately you're like, "Oh, all right. There's a lot more to this man than you thought."
All right.
He's it's almost as if 2 buttons just become undone on his shirt, and his hair becomes more coiffed suddenly. You don't know
He
how.
becomes Fabio?
He can be He can be himself.
Yeah, he just like crosses his legs
Listen.
and he goes, "Listen, I wouldn't say so, but there's been a lot of heat between Lord Harold and Septon Arlen. You know, because I mean the lady's always been so, but Walton took to the idea of becoming a holy knight quite intensely, and well, the Septon, he very much encouraged that way of thinking, and well, Harold wished Walton would focus less on being a knight and more on being a lord. And, well, the whole thing is, it was hard to argue against the Septon because he was such an educated man, and Walton being Walton and Harold being Harold, their own point of views wouldn't get through to each other. Though Walton always did have a certain way of getting Harold to see his own stubbornness. He loves the boy. But I believe he hired even though Harold Dolva does not need a maester, he is as educated as any maester is. And honestly, if anyone was sick, no one's really gotten that sick. Besides, his wife had friends who would send their maesters and things like that. Like, they didn't need any. But I think he hired him to have someone in his who was more educated than the Septon, to sort of put the Septon's arguments to shame. And from what I heard, he definitely did. But instead of awakening Walton from his love of religion, it only almost drew him away. It caused a schism. And I think it worked, well, the opposite of what Lord Harold was hoping. And it's just sort of gotten worse from there.
Why? I mean, I understand how some Septons can want to encourage those to follow the Seven, but so Septon Arnold seems very insistent. Seemed insistent.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not that. It's so I'm to be completely honest. Arlen is not a mastermind. He is not trying to draw Walton in. Walton wants it. He wants it more than anything. He loves being a knight. The thought of being a holy anointed knight, quest for the seven, it's his everything. He is. I mean, quite honestly, the boy. If there aren't legends about him now, but I'm sure he's a good man. But Harold wishes he was just more about numbers and money.
Of course.
I mean, any lord would love to have Walton as an heir, but Harold Ulver is Harold Ulver. I'm just, quite honestly, I think I don't know what the argument. I really don't. Not there, not paying attention. No one else knows. Not really terribly interested in chatting. I am worried. I will say. I mean, what's been going on? Well, I mean, if you don't know, it's my place to say.
Well, I've heard some rumors, but they sound so outlandish because I know.
What are the rumors you've heard?
So, well, will you tell me if I tell
If
you?
they are the rumors, I think.
All right. I've heard that there has been some, I would say, strife with the Tullisons over, but it's mainly.
I mean, it's more than right.
More than strife, I see.
I mean, that's an old wound. Harold Dulver has been griping about the Tullisons for decades.
What reason?
When he kind of like, well, I believe he. Let's see here. He said something along the lines of, "They're up-jumped bastards given lordship."
So I only heard up jump bastard.
Okay.
I think that's really the gist of it.
I caught that too. It bleeped out.
Yeah, so up jump bastards, given lordship and over rich lands and fruitful mines before the ink was dry on the Declaration of Legitimacy.
The up-jump bastards was the gist.
Up jump bastards was the big thing here.
Yeah. Up jump bastards,
That's
given
the
lordship
sticking point.
Now I gotta
over.
quote that.
Given lordship over rich lands and fruitful mines before the ink was even dry on their notes of legitimacy.
Sounds like it should be like the solo title of like the next Westeros boy band group.
Can I call a band name on that? Up jump
Yeah,
bastards.
this is the next panic title.
What's up, Lannisport? We were.
I mean,
Ralph.
quite honestly, I might agree. The past lords of Tullison have been. I mean, they were base-born fools, small folk, nothing. And the current Dunstan, young Lord Dunstan, well, according to Harold, he is a idiot born without the brains the gods gave a goat.
Song lyrics for that.
However, he did state that he was quite noble. I think the exact way he said it was, "Oh, so noble and knightly and good." However, that's old, very old. He's felt that way forever. He doesn't like them. He doesn't believe they deserve what they have.
So, all right.
But
So what do you
I can't believe that old resentment of them would lead to That's not who Harold is. I'm just worried that I have no on their current castle to be sieged, so I'm going to have to be doing the sapping from eye, and I just don't. I hate doing an all-eyed sap. It's just it's uncouth, and I prefer to plan. Things need to be where they're supposed to be, you know?
I've seen your work, and I can only go by the skill I have seen.
Yes, well, I'm mainly worried about the siege, and I just don't know what we're going to have to work by. I can't even get any information out of it. But it's not your concern.
Well, I would hate to see any friends of ours to go through such a hard time.
Yeah. Before you get with him, he really doesn't know. He obviously just told of how he feels about all.
Yeah. Okay.
That one about
he didn't,
not having the brains given to a goat is pretty.
That's pretty good. So he didn't seem to bat an eyelash when I mentioned over a year at all with Folston work being with the Lord. Okay. So maybe Septon just doesn't know the information. Harold doesn't like Septon, so. All right. Okay. Yeah. Still the same stuff. I know. Got some juicy, but.
All right.
Guess that's it for me.
All right. Mariella.
Hi.
Hi.
Not sure if you saw Jesse's note. He had to go for some.
Oh, did he have to go? Oh,
yes.
Unfortunate.
So we're a lord down. Just want to let you know.
Oh.
Henrik, get ready.
All right, here we go. I'm not.
It's his own fault.
Right.
Jesse did it to him.
Yeah.
But Mariella, I think we might come to. I think might we do a short break?
Sure, we can absolutely do a short
and
break.
at the end of that break, we can come to Mariella and perhaps find out what's befallen Claryssa.
Live all the life.
All right. So how about we go on a break, and we'll see you when we get back.
Yeah, I'll be back.
We're gonna go